Oh, it's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night. And where else would I be but here with you? DJ Stutz here with Little Hearts Academy, coming to you from Chester, Idaho, and the new headquarters of Little Hearts Academy and the podcast Imperfect Heroes. We're still getting organized. You should see the desk. I'm glad it just, because we're getting everything settled and ready and to make things even bigger and greater and more exciting. So I just wanted to remind everybody that right now, if you go to the podcast and leave a rating and review, and then just let me know, you can go through my email or the website and let me know that you left that rating and review. I'll check it. And then I will send you a digital copy of my Living in Kindness workbook and journal. And so this is covering 5 areas of kindness and things that you can do. You can do like one a day. You can concentrate on one for a full week or even a full month and really make it part of your life and expand how you are showing kindness to yourself. That's one of them. And the people that are around you. And even the people who aren't around you, because we even have a section on social media. So if you would like a free copy of that, just go to the podcast at imperfectheroespodcast.com, and then up at the top you'll see reviews. So you click on that, and then you're going to see one that says leave a review. Click on that, and it's just that easy. And then, give me 5 stars, and then just say whatever you want about the podcast and what's going on. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. I've been working hard on this, and I think it's at a great point. So we'll see how all of that goes. Today, we are talking about finding joy and positivity in the hard times. And I was talking to, let me see if you can see that, this guy. His name is Stephen Crane, and this is his book. I can appreciate that. And I'm in the middle of it, and it is such a good book. It's talking about, and I really believe that all of us kind of need to go through that transformation at some level or another. He was a very pessimistic guy, very glass half empty kind of guy. And one day he was talking to his son, and his son said something, and he retorted back with, whatever his thing is. And his son just finally said, "Dad, why do you always look at things in the negative? Why is everything such a big problem?" And he actually got thinking about this, and it set him on a journey of trying to figure that out. And so it's full of different stories from his life of difficult times. He's had several people in his family, people that he's loved, die of cancer. He's got his own significant health problems. He's gone through some business issues that were a struggle, and that kind of put him in that negative place. And even if you think of yourself, sorry, I'm dealing with some allergies, so I hope I don't sneeze in the middle of all of this, but you may get some sniffles. Anyway, but I think even if we consider ourselves a generally happy person, we still deal with hard times. And sometimes we do feel just defeated and overwhelmed. And it's okay to acknowledge those feelings, right? We need to acknowledge them because we need to say, okay, here's what I'm feeling right now. How did I get here? And what's the next step that I can take, right, in moving forward? And Steve Crane and I just have a fun, enjoyable conversation about moving from that. And now he can say that, he's a positive guy. He's a glass half full kind of guy. He's able to see the joy in things. And he's come to realize that even those hard experiences, to the point of losing a loved one to cancer, and now several loved ones for him to cancer, how those events, he came out the other end with some amazing outlooks. He's learned about himself. He's learned about other things. You know, with a job, you lose a job, and you feel terrible and panicked and all of that. But then somehow you wind up in a better place with a different job that you may enjoy more, that is closer to your home. There's all kinds of things that can happen. My oldest daughter is actually going through something similar, where there's something very difficult, and yet on the other side, already she's being able to see how this negative and tough experience is going to make things better for her. How many times can we sit down and say, okay, this is rough, this is hard, my kids are, you know, in trouble at school, or they're fighting all the time, or my child, oh, God forbid, is sick, and you know, I feel horrible about that. Okay, and acknowledge your feelings, right? And you may need to stew in them for a little bit, but at some point, you're going to be able to look and see, right, the good that comes from it, the good that you learn about yourself, the good that you maybe draw closer to God through it all. And I have some friends back in the Denver area, and you know, they have all these kids. I think they had four kids, and they're all healthy and happy and doing great. And they have one son at the age of 16 was out with the scouts and up in the, you know, in the snow, and doing sledding and tubing, and there was a horrible accident, and he broke his neck, and there was significant cognitive loss, physical disabilities, and at one point the doctors even said to the mom, really what you need to do is put him in an institution and forget, because like 85-90% of the time when families go through this, the families fall apart. And so you're going to have to choose between him or your family staying together. Well, she and her husband were determined that this was not going to be the case. Well, this young man is, I think he's 35, around there now, and he still struggles significantly with walking, with talking, and he's kind of a little slow of thought sometimes, but he is happy, and he is a joy to those around him. He has looked to find opportunities of service to other people, and I know him through church, and he would come and help out at church every week, and he has done so much to enrich the lives of others in ways that would not have been possible had he been whole and healthy. So they made their marriage stronger. They were determined that this was not going to be part of them. They were not going to be one of these, you know, statistics of sadness that was going on. They found the blessing in the darkness, and how amazing that is. So I want you to think about people that are, we'll take the, you know, the two extremes, realizing that almost everyone is somewhere in the middle. But there's that person who always finds a problem, always finds, you know, if someone has another idea, well, it won't work because of this. Well, it won't work because of that. They get mad very easily. They hold grudges. They're offended, you know, at the drop of a hat, right? How much fun are they? How inspiring are they, right? But then think of someone, let's go to that other extreme, who is happy, who is engaged, who knows people, knows their names, knows about their families, who, when someone comes up with an idea, maybe if it won't work exactly that way, we can say, oh, okay, let's see if this is something that can work. Let's work from a positive point of view. And maybe it's not something that you can do or that will be of a benefit to you or your company or whatever it is that you have going on, but you do have the conversation, and people feel heard around them. They feel important around them. Who are you going to draw to, right? And like I said, all of us, we have positive, good times and some of those negative times where we're just, sad sack, we're Eeyore and all of that. But, where are we mostly? Are we on this side of that center, or are we on the happier side of it? Are we happy more often than we are sad and negative? Are we positive about prospects of what we can learn? Are we curious about how things are working, how someone came to a conclusion, how I came to that conclusion, how I maybe messed something up? Okay, so how can I go about and repair it and fix it and make it better, right? And so we're looking at those opportunities at a very different point, I guess, the point of view. Which one do you share? Which one do you choose? Well, if you listen to the podcast, you're going to hear a lot of comments about how we work with that with our kids. How do we enrich our kids to help them to live? Don't you think that's a happier life when they are there and they're positive and they're saying, I can do this and here's how I'm going to do it, right? Or, well, why even try? I'll never get to college. And maybe college they don't need. I don't think everyone needs college, but what does my future look like? And how do I have a plan to get there? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? And if he's 5'7", you have a son 5'7", and he wants to be an NBA player, well, that's not going to happen. But what can you do at 5'7" that thrills you, that excites you? What are the sports that are available to you? And there are many. If you have a son that's 7 foot tall, he's not going to be a fighter pilot. He won't fit in the cockpit, right? And so we can be realistic about it, but then we can find alternative plans that will be fulfilling and happy and productive. So I want you to listen to the podcast. It is fun. It's amazing. We laugh. We tell stories. It is very inspiring, I think. And so I hope that you'll do that. And then look at this book. So I Can Appreciate That. It's a super good book. I highly recommend it for you to read with your spouse or your loved one, and read it together and share and comment and talk. I think it's the perfect book for that. And or a book club. And so I rarely do this, but I rarely like a book this much. It's really, really good. So I hope that you'll join us. And before I go, I want to remind you to go to the podcast, rate and review. And then I also want you to remember that I am here for you. And if you would like to talk to me about your family and some of the things that you would like to see changed, and you're not sure how to help your children through a certain stage or whatever, I would be more than happy to talk to you at a free consultation, and we'll talk about what's going on, what are your goals, and where you are now. Because if we just spend our whole life worrying about what should be instead of looking at what is and then what the next steps are, we'll never get there. And so we're very realistic and we're very positive and happy. We share joy, we support during hard times, we celebrate the good times. And so if you would like to be in on that, all you have to do is just shoot me an email. It's djstutz@littleheartsacademyusa.com. Super easy. And I'll put that in the comments. And so next week, we are talking about finances. Raising kids is so expensive. And it seems every time you turn around, somebody wants more money from you. And it feels bad when you just don't have it. When your kids want to do something and you don't have the money for them to do it? How can we prepare and plan and get things ready even on a small income so that we aren't blindsided, there it is, blindsided by these things that show up. And so I hope you'll watch for us then. And so I'll be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock right here. And until then, let's find joy in parenting. See you guys.